Have you ever pondered why Bitcoin, the revolutionary digital currency, can't scale like a traditional financial system? Well, to understand this, we first need to delve into what Bitcoin is and the challenges it faces in terms of scalability. Bitcoin, as you may already know, is a form of digital currency, a cryptocurrency, that operates independently of a central bank. It was introduced in 2009 by an unknown person using the alias Satoshi Nakamoto. Transactions are made with no middlemen, meaning no banks. It sounds great, doesn't it? But here's where we hit a bit of a snag. The Bitcoin network, by design, has some inherent limitations. The most notable of these is the 1 megabyte block size limit. In simple terms, a block in the context of Bitcoin is a file where data pertaining to the Bitcoin network is permanently recorded. A block records some or all of the most recent Bitcoin transactions that have not yet entered any prior blocks. Now, the size of this block is limited to 1 megabyte. This means that the amount of transactions that can be processed is limited. Adding to this limitation is the 10-minute block creation time. Yes, you heard it right. It takes approximately 10 minutes to create a block, or in other words, to process new transactions. Now compare this with a traditional payment system like Visa, which processes thousands of transactions per second. Quite a difference, isn't it? As Bitcoin started to gain popularity and more transactions began to take place, these limitations started to become more apparent. The 1 megabyte block size and the 10-minute block creation time began to act as bottlenecks in the system, slowing down transaction processing times and limiting the overall capacity of the network. This led to increased transaction fees and longer waiting times, which in turn led to a heated discussion among the Bitcoin community. This is what we now refer to as the infamous Bitcoin scaling debate. As Bitcoin's popularity rose, so did the strain on its network, leading to the infamous Bitcoin scaling debate. So stick around as we dive deeper into this debate in the next scene. The Bitcoin scaling debate didn't just pop up overnight. It's a controversy that's been brewing since Bitcoin's early days. Let's take a step back in time. It's 2011, and for the first time, concerns about Bitcoin's scalability are being raised. As the network grows, so too does the volume of transactions. Bitcoin's original design had a 1 megabyte block size limit, a restriction put in place to fend off potential spam attacks. But as more and more people begin to use Bitcoin, it becomes clear that this limit might become a bottleneck, slowing down transaction times and increasing fees. Different voices within the community start proposing solutions. Some suggest increasing the block size limit, arguing that larger blocks would allow more transactions to be processed at once. This would, in theory, increase the network's capacity and keep transaction fees low. However, not everyone agrees with this proposed solution. Opponents of larger block sizes raise concerns about the decentralization of Bitcoin. They argue that larger blocks would require more computing power to mine, which could lead to the centralization of mining power in the hands of a few. This centralization, they fear, could undermine the very principles upon which Bitcoin was founded: decentralization and the ability for anyone to participate in the network. The debate becomes increasingly polarized. On one side, you have those championing larger block sizes, keen to scale Bitcoin and maintain low transaction fees. On the other side, you have those prioritizing decentralization, willing to accept higher fees to keep Bitcoin accessible to all. As the years go by, the debate intensifies. The community becomes divided, and it becomes clear that a consensus is unlikely to be reached. This division sets the stage for one of the most significant events in Bitcoin's history. The debate heated up with the proposal of two major solutions: SegWit and larger block sizes. These proposed solutions would not only shape the future of Bitcoin, but also lead to the creation of a new cryptocurrency. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's dive deeper into the two major solutions proposed: SegWit and larger block sizes. The Bitcoin community found itself divided between two main solutions: SegWit and larger block sizes. But what do these solutions entail? First, let's unpack SegWit. Standing for segregated witness, SegWit is a protocol upgrade that modifies how transaction data is stored. This solution doesn't increase the block size limit, but it effectively increases the number of transactions that can fit into a single block. It does this by separating the witness information, the signature data, from the transaction. This data is then stored outside the main block, making room for more transactions within the block itself. In essence, SegWit is a bit like moving the bulky furniture out of your living room to make more space for guests. The furniture isn't gone, it's just relocated to a different area of the house. By doing this, SegWit effectively increases the transaction capacity of the network without changing the size of the blocks. On the other side of the debate, we have the proposal to increase block sizes. This solution is a bit more straightforward. The idea here is to simply expand the size of each block, allowing more transactions to be included in each one. This is akin to upgrading your living room to a banquet hall. You're not moving anything around, you're just making the room bigger. However, larger blocks come with their own challenges. For one, they could lead to increased centralization, as only miners with more powerful hardware would be able to process larger blocks. This could potentially push out smaller miners, reducing the decentralization that is a key feature of Bitcoin. In addition, larger blocks could increase the blockchain's size at a faster pace, leading to more storage demands. This could further push small-scale miners out of the picture, as they may not have the resources to store an ever-growing blockchain. Each solution had its advocates and critics, leading to a split in the Bitcoin community. The scaling debate eventually led to a significant event in Bitcoin's history, the Bitcoin split. As the conversation heated up, it became clear that the Bitcoin community was divided on how to address the scalability issue. This division culminated in a hard fork in August of 2017. In the cryptocurrency world, a hard fork is essentially a divergence in the blockchain. It occurs when non-upgraded nodes can't validate blocks created by upgraded nodes that follow newer consensus rules. In simpler terms, think of it as a road that splits into two distinct paths, each going its own way. Leading up to the hard fork, there were two main camps. One group supported the implementation of segregated witness, or SegWit, a method that aimed to decrease the amount of data that needs to be verified in each block by removing signature data from the transactions. This camp believed that the primary issue was not the size of the blocks, but rather the inefficiency of the data within them. The other group, however, argued for an increase in block size. They believed that the 1 megabyte limit was simply too small to handle the growing number of transactions. This group would later become the advocates for what is now known as Bitcoin Cash. So what happened next? Well, Bitcoin introduced SegWit, and the blockchain continued on its original path. But those who believed in larger block sizes took a different path, creating a new cryptocurrency called Bitcoin Cash, which increased the block size from 1 megabyte to 8. The birth of Bitcoin Cash was significant because it was the first time that the Bitcoin blockchain had split into two separate cryptocurrencies. This split allowed both sides of the debate to implement their proposed solutions, giving the market the opportunity to decide which approach it preferred. The split marked a significant milestone in the scaling debate, but it was far from the end. As we'll see in the next scene, the debate about Bitcoin's scalability and future continues to evolve. With the scaling debate still ongoing, what does the future hold for Bitcoin? This question echoes through the minds of many as we venture further into the digital era. As we've seen, solutions like SegWit and larger block sizes have been proposed and implemented, but the discussion continues, taking us to new frontiers of technological innovation and ideological debates. One of these frontiers is the Lightning Network, a potential solution to Bitcoin's scaling issue. This second-layer protocol operates atop the Bitcoin blockchain, enabling faster, smaller transactions. It creates a network of payment channels where transactions are conducted off-chain, only settling on the Bitcoin blockchain when the channels are closed. This could significantly increase Bitcoin's transaction speed and volume, making it more scalable and practical for everyday use. However, it's critical to note that the Lightning Network is not a universally accepted solution. Critics argue that it could lead to centralization, a concept antithetical to the decentralized ethos of Bitcoin. Moreover, its implementation requires significant technical expertise, creating a barrier for mainstream adoption. This brings us to an essential point. The Bitcoin scaling debate isn't just about finding a technical fix. It's also about defining what Bitcoin should become. Should it remain a decentralized digital gold, a store of value for long-term holders? Or should it evolve into a payment system capable of supporting daily transactions like buying a cup of coffee or paying for a taxi ride? This ideological debate is crucial because it shapes the future direction of Bitcoin. It's not just about the technology, it's about the principles that underpin this revolutionary digital currency. It's about deciding what role Bitcoin will play in our financial future. As we move forward, it's clear that the resolution of the Bitcoin scaling debate will have profound implications. It will determine not only the technological evolution of Bitcoin, but also its ideological direction. The Bitcoin scaling debate continues to unfold, shaping the future of this digital currency and its potential to revolutionize the financial world. So, let's keep the conversation going, let's keep exploring, and let's shape the future of Bitcoin together.